Hi, you all. It's Carlo L'Chelle Dawson with Bless Your Soul TV. And we want to welcome you today. I want to thank you guys for just coming here with me. And we're going to talk about teacher tips. So today is Teacher Tip Tuesday. And I am teaching virtually, like so many of you all. I've been teaching for approximately 2 decades. And 2 decades, let's get that right. Not four, 2 decades. And just like so many of you all, I am overwhelmed, but I will say I've had the opportunity to learn so much in this time that I've been teaching virtually that I can add to my repertoire, right? Add to my catalog with teaching. And I will say a lot of times we say with teaching the same things apply. And so there are a few times when the same thing applies, right? There are a few times where we can say, yes, we need good classroom management. Yes, we need to have knowledge. That applies, right? But we do have where some things are different. And so I will say one thing that is the same is just like when you're in a classroom, expect the unexpected, right? So in a classroom, we always say expect the unexpected. I could teach the same thing in my first block class and then teach it again in my second block class, and I know it's going to be different, right? The people are different, the moment is different, all of that is different. But I will say some of the things that you just need to know is that you can have one thing is when I was face to face, right? One thing I will say is when I would teach a lesson, I could carry that lesson if I wanted to. I could carry that lesson from the previous year and just kind of tweak it a tad. You can't do that. So when I will say I had a lesson that I have taught for, gosh, 15 years, and now when I'm teaching virtually, I can't teach it the same way. Well, for one, one course that I do teach is English for British literature. Okay, I teach it to a population that looks very different from a lot of uh, those authors. A lot of the authors that are in that course are dead white males. Okay, the students don't match that demographic. Okay, they're not dead. All right, but they're also not. They don't really fit the demographic. You get what I'm saying? You catch what I'm throwing? Okay, so one thing is that even that I knew how to maneuver that, but teaching virtually, it took me out of the comfort zone and it challenged me. And that's not a bad thing, but it did take time. So I had to know to expect the unexpected. And what that meant is I had to repurpose that lesson. I had to change that lesson totally. So, for example, I flipped my classroom. So I recorded myself and I really try to help these students because the students are on varying levels. Okay. Some are reading at a third grade level, some are at a collegiate level, right? And so I had to balance it for both students. So I actually recorded myself reading the text and explaining it while I would read it. That way, and I had to learn to do that. That way it wouldn't take so much time from the classroom setting where I can explain to students and help students if they need it. Um, so that was the thing, expect the unexpected. And so that's a way to curve that, right? Um, also, directions can get lost in translation. Like if you're in the classroom face to face, you can just say, no, you're not doing that. You speak to the student one on one and say, you need to correct that. Well, virtually, it's not so easy because, of course, you have where um, students, there are a whole bunch of students in one setting. And so I realized I had to sometimes I put my students in individual breakout rooms. So if they need help, they can just press the button and invite me to the room and I can help them one on one. So that's a way to curb that, right? A way to jump in front of expecting that unexpected. So the biggest thing with expecting the unexpected is what I'm alluding to. Preparation is key. Okay, you need to prep ahead of time. So that means it could take hours. It could take a lot more time. And if you like me, you may have had everything in place and good to go because you've been teaching a while. Okay, but I've learned that I need to do a lot on the front end to make it easier for the students in class. And so what that means is I do record myself reading or explaining something, and then I can have a little bit more time to do the things that I want to do. Like I said, expect the unexpected. What I didn't expect also, I knew that I would have to grade because my class sizes are massive because they put a lot of students in the virtual classrooms. But one thing I didn't expect is the grading and how long it would take. Um, and so I had to think about chunking my work and chunking what I give the students over time just to save myself, but also make sure that the students are getting the work and understanding it because it's just, you don't want students to just be in the class, just getting busy work. So that's the biggest thing, right? Now, the biggest thing was expect the unexpected. And now, guess what? You know it. You can expect it. It is not face to face, right? And so that means that the biggest thing for me is preparing ahead of time, recording, right? Myself, teaching the lesson. But I love more so recording myself. I'm an ELA teacher, and I love more so recording myself um, reading and explaining. And if you're math or your social studies, if you record yourself explaining and going through problems, going through that, it helps the student because those students can go back to it and use it as a resource. And this is what it's about. It's about leveling that playing field because you do have students. If you're like me, you have students who are at varying levels. And we want to be fair to all of those students. Now, what happens is if the students don't use that resource, then there's an issue because they should. And that's when you have to go to the next steps, right? And take the next steps to reach out, talk to the student one-on-one, find out what's going on. But, preparation is key, just like in the classroom. But just know what you used before, you gotta tweak it, okay? What may have attracted the students before, you have to think about it differently. So what I learned is I am fabulous. I will, get the students to actually be engaged because I love to talk. But it's it's about making sure that the work is engaging just from the just from the core of it. And how can you make it engaging? And for me, I had to think about that. So plan ahead. All right, tell me some ideas. Tell me some things that you learned about the unexpected. Okay, we didn't even get to the classroom management point. We will get to that because it's totally different when it's virtual. We'll get to some other things, but let me know what you've learned about planning and expecting the unexpected in your planning. All right. Okay, I'll see you till next Tuesday. Thank you for joining me for Teacher Tip Tuesday. And as always, bless your soul.